Vineet, as per information released by the Baloch Yakjehti Committee, 6 Balochis who were victims of forced disappearance. This includes Abdul Latif, who was abducted on the 5th of May 2025 and released on the 12th of May in Turbat. Abdul Basit, who was abducted on the 26th of April and released on the 14th of May in Mastung. Abdul Zahir, abducted on the 25th of April 2025 and released on the 14th of May in Dabandin Balach, who was abducted on the 14th of May and released 2 days later on the 16th of May in Pasni, and Maqsood Ahmed, who was released after a span of 4 days in Chagi. Alright, let's talk about this. This is obviously a campaign that NewsX has talked about in the past as well. We'll discuss this with some prominent figures. Ambassador Suresh Kumar Goyal, former diplomat, with me in the broadcast. Dr. Suvro Kamal Datta, acclaimed international conservative expert, with me in the studio. Mr. Ahmer Mustakhan, senior journalist from Balochistan, will also be joining us momentarily. Ambassador Goyal, I'll begin with you. Sir, first up, let me pick your brains on what's happening in Balochistan. Do you think that with all the commotion that has been created between India and Pakistan after Pahalgam, Operation Sindoor, the ceasefire, and you know the chronology, sir, there is this palpable momentum to free Balochistan from the clutches of Pakistan, and that is something extraordinary which we haven't seen in the past, sir. And do you think will there ever be a diplomatic solution to this, or do you think it will be something which is replete in bloodshed?
Vineet, two things here. First of all, the movement in Balochistan for independence is real and very strong, as we all know it, in terms of the reports coming from Balochistan, in terms of what we keep on hearing on different networks. It is real, it is very, very strong. How it is going to turn out is something which is very difficult to say, because if I look at the reactions or the views from abroad, particularly the countries in the United Nations and the countries which matter in terms of their international influence, there are very few, surprisingly, and maybe not so surprisingly really, who have added their voice to the movement, or who have actually encouraged the movement to basically, or provided support to the movement. However, knowing the history of Balochistan, I do think that there is a lot of merit in the demand for a free state. If you see the Raja of Kalat, who actually wanted to maintain Balochistan as an independent country at that time, but was really cheated out of his plans and what he had in mind by the British and by the Pakistanis, including Muhammad Jinnah at that time, who were assured him of conversations, etc., etc. But eventually, when he came to the table, he was done out of what he wanted as an independent Balochistan. I think there is a lot of merit in demand for an independent Balochistan, and that demand should be considered with, I would say, an element of sympathy and an element of understanding, and at least what Pakistan is called the moral support. I think we should at least give moral support and political support to the idea. Vineet.
Absolutely right. Mr. Ahmer Mustakhan, senior journalist, is also joining us on the program. Mr. Mustakhan, are you there with us, sir? Mr. Ahmer Mustakhan, are you there with us, sir? Okay, there seems to be a connection. Let me get a response from Dr. S.K. Datta as well, who's with me in the studio. Dr. Datta, you've seen, our previous coverage of how Balochistan blew up on social media. In fact, it became an international phenomenon. I was fortunate enough, to speak to some of the gentlemen who were part of that conversation and who told us why exactly Pakistan is not letting go of Balochistan, because of all its resources and its minerals. So it's been using, exploiting, extricating wealth out of Balochistan, but investing zero in it. It is still a place which looks third world. It's a barren land which is bereft of any development, any modernization, and any kind of democracy.
Yes, absolutely, Vinit. I remember I had done a show with you on Balochistan a couple of days back. I understand that the agony of Balochistan and the history of Balochistan is basically it is blooded in a lot of bloodshed history, and it's really sad. What I understand is like in 1948-49, if our second nominated prime minister of our country, Pandit Nehru, would have taken a call on this, then perhaps Balochistan would not have faced what
Did you
it
say
has
nominated Prime Minister?
Yes, because I consider Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose to be the first Prime Minister of Azad Hind. So,
Okay.
in my understanding, Pandit Nehru was the second nominated one, and he won only with his only with his single vote. We know the history. So, like if Pandit Nehru would have taken a call in relation to Balochistan, the Nawab of Kalat actually wanted the Indian government to take a call on this. If Pandit Nehru would have been foresighted enough, then perhaps Balochistan would not have faced this kind of blooded history like the way it has been facing since 1948-49 onwards. I do understand that practically Balochistan is more or less independent now. Socially, culturally, it was never a part of Pakistan. Cultural edifice of Balochistan is completely different from the Wahhabi Islam which is projected and propagated by Lahore and by Punjabi Pakistan. So it's completely different. What is needed is the political recognition of that, and I think time has come for the government of India to take a call on this and should officially declare the independence of Balochistan, and India should consider Balochistan to be an independent country. And I think we should move ahead, and we should also take a call in relation to establishing diplomatic relationship with the with the government in exile of Balochistan, and perhaps we should also allow them to open up an embassy here in India. And whenever the situation becomes ideal, then perhaps in Quetta in Balochistan also. Secondly, is like as in relation to the Western countries, we cannot expect much from them as of now, because United States of America has its own interest in relation to Pakistan. So does China, and Russia, in my understanding, would keep a neutrality as of now. But then the way things are unfolding, I think it's not very far off when a final solution in relation to Balochistan will be arrived at. Presently, the scenario in Balochistan is exactly similar to the situation in 1970 and 1969 in East Pakistan, which later on became Bangladesh after the 71 war. And I think it's a cursor to that direction. And the the cultural, the social, and the economic balkanization of Pakistan is complete now. Only the political balkanization, it's a matter of time. We are also seeing that the demand for Sindhu Pradesh or Sindhu Desh is also coming up in a big way, and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa is more or less out of the hands of the Pakistan government. So what I understand is like we should make our position very clear. First and foremost, take back POK and Gilgit-Baltistan, and perhaps we should actually help out the independence movement in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Balochistan as well as in Sindhu Desh.
Okay, we have some breaking news also to talk about. As per information released by the Baloch Yakjehti